Once you boot up your computer, this is what you will see in Windows XP. This is your desktop screen. Your screen might look a little bit different, or might not look a little bit different, but this is what you'll actually get once you log into Windows XP. Just to give you a general overview of things, I made a new installation on a new hard drive, in the sense that it was a fresh partition which had no previous data, and I did not upgrade from a previous operating system. These are two different scenarios that we are going to talk about right now. When you upgrade from a previous system, say Windows Me or Windows 2000 or Windows 98, all the previous documents and all the previous settings are going to be inherited by Windows XP. So basically it'll just act as an enhanced version of your previous operating system, because obviously Windows XP has a lot more features than Windows 98 and Me, and it would thus act as an enhanced version of Windows 98 or Windows XP or Windows Me, sorry. On the other hand, as it is in this case, to avoid confusion, what I've done is installed a new operating system on a station which had no previous operating system installed on it. And as you can see, the desktop is absolutely clear. Depending on these two things, your desktop might look a little bit different. It might have a few icons on the desktop, on the screen that you're viewing right now. It might have a few icons on there, and it might actually not have a few icons on there, as it is in my case, where it's a fresh installation. You might not be able to view any desktop icons at the moment, as I just told you earlier, that if you were to upgrade from Windows 95, 98, Windows Me or whatever, you might have a few desktop icons over here, something like my computer, my network places, my documents, and perhaps a few other icons where stating shortcuts to certain other software programs. So in order to avoid confusion, what we're going to do here is add all of those icons to the desktop screen, so our screens look pretty much the same, and they're pretty much similar to my screen, so we do not have no confusion, and it's easy for you to follow this course. But before we do that, let me just take you to an overview of the Windows XP desktop. All of this that you see, the blue area, the green area really is your desktop screen. Well, in addition to the desktop, we have the recycle bin, which is where we throw away documents, folders that are unwanted, and we will talk about that in greater detail later on. And at the bottom of your screen, you have the taskbar. Well, the taskbar is this big blue block that you see right here at the end. All of it is actually called the taskbar. To the right of the taskbar, we have this notification area. Once again, yours may not or might actually look a little bit different to what mine looks like at the moment. Well, for now, the time should be displayed on everyone's desktop, and if once you hover over it, as I just did, it should give me the date, which says 11th of June 2005, and the time as 1:23 p.m. And to the left of the taskbar is the start button, and once you click on the start button, you get this access to a really big thing that pops up, and this should pretty much give you access to all you want to do with Windows XP. Well, a bit of what I'm going to do right now is get you used to the terminologies that I am going to be using throughout this CD-ROM, this training tutorial that we have for Windows XP, and just to get used to a few things that we might be talking in a lot more detail later on. If you see right here at the top, it says administrator. That's my login name right now. I'm logged in as an administrator, and this cute little picture of the guitar is an icon that I wanted my picture to be, well, my login to have next to it. And below this, you have a few applications that have been pinned to the desktop. You have Internet Explorer and WordPad and desktop. Later on, we'll talk about this in greater detail. Below that, below the gray line, you have over here the programs that you've been using multiple times, like Sound Recorder, Flashback Recorder, and once more, we'll talk about this in greater detail as we move on. All of this information on the right-hand side is fairly consistent, but can be customized to bring your own viewing screen to this particular side of the taskbar, the big box, the big blue box that opens every time you click on start, you have access to your My Documents, your pictures, your music. You have access to your computer, where all the hard drives and all the access to drives is. You have access to the control panel, setting default programs access. You have the option and access to internet connections, printer and faxes, help and support, search, run. You also have access to logging off and turning off the computer. So for now, if we click on My Computer, we drag our mouse, hover our mouse over My Computer and click on it, this should give you a window that says My Computer. It should have access to your shared documents, your administrator documents, the local hard drives. In this case, I have 4 partitions: disk drive C, D, E, F, my CD-ROM drive, my floppy disk. And now we know how to access some of the larger components of our computer. We'll just click out of My Computer. We'll just go up to this cross section button, cross it out, and in a nutshell, that's what your desktop is all about. So just to recap, your desktop consists of the desktop, all of this blue and green picture, the notification area where you have the time, the taskbar, the start menu, the recycle bin. My mouse just skipped off the screen. This recycle bin, and a couple of icons that you might be able to see on the top corner of your screen. Right now, I'm going to show you how to add some commonly used icons to your desktop. For example, we might want one for My Computer, so we can access the hard drive, our CD-ROM drive, the floppy disk using My Computer. Just clicking on My Computer right on the desktop, and the My Computer icon will act as a shortcut to that. Another very useful icon that's added to the desktop is My Documents, and that's a special folder where all the documents and all the applications that you create are saved into by default. And then maybe a My Network Places. If you want to access a network, whether it's internal or external, or perhaps whether it be an FTP site or any other sort of environmental networks. Once we have these icons on the desktop, then we'll have a sort of a complete desktop where we'll have 4 default icons, in the sense where My Documents, My Computer, My Network Places, and Recycle Bin will be all visible. So now let's see how we can possibly add these icons to the desktop. All we need to do is go on to the Start menu, click on it, go to My Computer, right click on it, and there you have an option, Show on the Desktop. And voila, you have My Computer showing on the desktop. Same goes for My Documents. You right click on it, it says Show on the Desktop. Voila, one more time, you have My Documents on the desktop as well. Say you want My Pictures, you right click on that. Because My Pictures is not a default desktop icon, it will not give you a Show Desktop option. So it's only the default folders that you do get a default network option at. Now that you see I have those 2 icons over there, if I want to get rid of the Start menu, all I need to do is click anywhere on the screen apart from the Start menu, and I should be able to get rid of the taskbar or the Start menu. So we just choose this cloud and click on it. There we go. You probably heard that click, a bit loud, but that's just got rid of the Start menu. Now, in order for us to access, we have 2 possible ways to access all of those icons on the desktop. First option is we just go onto My Computer and double click on it, and voila, we have My Computer open, where we just saved all the hassle of going to the Start menu, going to My Computer, and then having to choose this. All we do is double click on the desktop and we have My Computer open. And as in the previous case, you have all the similar, it's basically just a shortcut to the same place. So we cross this out and go to My Computer again. The other option is, other than double clicking, is to right click it and select Open. That should once more open the same page as it did the previous time, only the means of doing it are different in each instance, where in the first instance you're double clicking on it, and in the second instance you're having to right click on it and choose Open. So we cross this out, and let's compare the third option. We go to the start menu, choose the same option from the start menu, and as you can see, there really is no change or difference to what we did on the desktop. It's just a longer pathway to the same place. So we cross this once more, and really we do the same thing with my documents. If you double click on it, it's going to give me access to getting started, my flashback movies, my music, my pictures, a folder called Ali, and really once we go over with this CD-ROM, we'll have a lot of methodologies where we state how we actually create shortcuts and how sometimes they can be so very useful, and also figure out multiple ways to access the very same things. So there is once again a brief overview of the desktop where we learn how to add desktop icons. We actually we overviewed the whole desktop. We looked at the recycle bin, how to add icons. We looked at the taskbar, the start menu. You have the time over here displayed, and a sound volume icon. We'll go into that later on, but this is a general overview of your desktop and how you can use it more efficiently. We're going to get into later on where you can place lots of shortcuts on your desktop. Sometimes it does get a bit messy, but you would want to go through the hassle of actually going to the folders and then clicking on to the file that starts the program. You'd rather have that on the desktop, double click on it, and voila, you can run the program. Just one thing before we go out of this tutorial, for this particular tutorial that we're doing right now, is that be it any Windows, be it Windows Me 98, 95, or Windows XP, if you right click on the desktop, you will get certain options like arrange icons by, refresh, undo, delete, save as scheme, graphic options, display modes, new, and properties. So the right click just vanished because I just clicked on the desktop once more. So if we want to pop that screen up once more, any part of the desktop that we choose, let's say this cloud, we right click on it, you'll notice properties right here at the end. Now any particular folder or file on Windows XP should have and will have properties attached to that. So any document or file you right click on will give you an option of properties. Clicking on to properties should give you an option how to edit your desktop and what it looks like. Once I do that, you'll see that I get something called the display properties, and it's opened up a window with a bunch of tabs right here at the top. It's got themes, desktop, screensaver, appearance, settings, and each one of them unique in their own way. But as a default, it opens up in the themes tab, and we're going to come back to this later on and find out how to customize your desktop and use different themes and different screensavers to modify your desktop and make it perhaps appear a lot better than the one that you have right now might be displayed as, or you want to change default settings and get something flashy in there. But we'll do that later in the customization section of this course. But one thing that I want you to be aware of at the moment is if you click on the settings feature, you'll see that there are two very useful things that you need to be aware of. One is the color quality settings and the screen resolution settings. Well, if you want to change the color quality, if you scroll your mouse down to color quality and click on the drop down menu, you can see there are two different options that I can choose from. One is medium 16-bit, the other one is the highest 32-bit. A 32-bit uses a lot more colors than a 16-bit would, and it would make the picture look a lot better than a 16-bit actually would. And if you look on the left, if I slide down this thumb glider that I have on the left, you can actually see that I am decreasing my screen resolution, and the objects have gotten a lot larger than what they were actually. Let's look at this. If you can concentrate on this screen over here, and I'm going to scroll down my mouse and change the settings over here. If I click my mouse on the bar and move it towards the right, you can see the screen resolution has improved, and there are a lot more pixels being used in that particular screen, and the screen size in general has decreased. But once again, depending on the type of video card that you have, the type of hardware that you're using, these two settings might appear a lot more different. You might have a lot more screen resolution options over here, and you might have a lot more color quality options to choose from on your particular desktop, and I might not actually have those options. but this at least shows you where you would be able to set the color resolution of your computer and the screen resolution, and the number of pixels that the computer is to use for your desktop, which you will be able to set from the settings tab. But in general, this is just something that I wanted to point out for all the Windows XP users early in the CD-ROM, where you are able to change the color settings and the screen resolution of the resolution of your screen very easily, just by coming to the desktop, clicking on display properties, clicking on settings, and voila, you have the screen resolution, the color quality to choose from. And either one of these buttons is what you need to choose from. OK, cancel, and apply. Apply would apply the settings that you've updated. Cancel would send you back to the same settings that you had before you clicked on properties, and OK would just get you out of the window. For now, we'll just click on cancel because I think my desktop looks pretty slick. And there we go, we're back at the desktop and done with the first lesson that we have of the desktop of Windows XP.